whopping total, oh wait, no, I missed it. I don't even know what the heck this is. $5,657. And then for a whopping total of $51,383. This is before insurance, and just as an FYI, there was no complications at all during my birth, natural delivery, no issues whatsoever.
I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.
I just paid my winter property tax bill. I hate to complain. I don't like being a complainer, but it's $4,875. That's for half of the year. And it goes back to what I say is like, we don't actually really own this property. We don't. I'm paying discounted rent essentially for the property. It's around $10,000 a year. We're in Okemos Meridian Township, Michigan. And so I don't know who voted for this over year after year. It goes up every single year by a few $100, and this is where we're at. There's no legal remedies for it. You can request a hearing. They always affirm it. I'm an attorney. I get calls about this. There's really nothing you can do about it. So I don't know. You don't really own property.
Let's start a thread. What's your electric bill? Mine was $203 for the month of July, which is $61 cheaper than it was last month, which was $144. Now, June was a very mild month in the Northwest. It was actually cold, is what it felt like, to me anyway. So the AC wasn't running too bad, so $144 kind of makes sense. What I want to talk about, though, is I made this same post last month. What's up with everywhere else charging so much for their electric? It was astronomical in some of the comments. Okay, some of the ones that stick out to me was California. California's broken, I swear. People are, over $1,000 easily. Arizona, another one. That one, same, over $1,000. And then the other one that I guess kind of shocked me was Illinois. Dude. Okay, I don't know if these people are trolling me or they're just, like, what are they doing in their house? I can see if you got, there's so many factors here. I don't know what they're doing in their house. Close the door. AC's just kicking up. Anyways, what was your electric bill for the month of July? Mine was $203. I'm not complaining. What was yours?
They call it the land of opportunity, a country where anyone can make it if they just work hard enough. But what happens when hard work isn't enough anymore? For millions of Americans today, the dream is slipping away. And no matter how many hours they work, no matter how many side hustles they start, they're still one paycheck away from disaster. This is the silent reality of the American working class. Low pay, high prices, and no way out. Every morning, millions wake up before sunrise. They clock in at warehouses, grocery stores, hospitals, and construction sites. They keep the country running, but when the shift ends, the struggle begins. Rent keeps rising faster than wages. Groceries cost 25% more than they did just a few years ago. Gas, utilities, insurance, all climbing. Meanwhile, the minimum wage in much of America hasn't moved in over a decade. A single mother earning $12 an hour brings home around $25,000 a year before taxes. But the average rent for a two-bedroom apartment? Almost $2,000 a month. Add groceries, bills, car payments, and childcare by then, and she's already underwater before the month even begins. So she picks up a second job, sometimes a third. She skips meals so her kids don't have to. And every time she looks at her bank account, she wonders, how much longer can I keep doing this? The truth is, this isn't just her story. It's the story of millions. 40% of Americans say they couldn't handle a $400 emergency. Over 60% live paycheck to paycheck. And while the cost of living has doubled in 20 years, wages have barely moved. In the richest country on earth, working full-time no longer guarantees stability. It just means exhaustion. Debt becomes the lifeline. Credit cards, payday loans, overdrafts. Borrow today and pay more tomorrow. Banks profit. Families drown. And still, they're told it's their fault. That they just need to work harder. Save more. Spend less. As if discipline can fix a system that's broken by design. Because the truth is, the game is rigged. While the cost of living crushes workers, corporate profits hit record highs. While people choose between rent and groceries, billionaires add billions to their net worth. In the last decade, the richest 1% in America captured over 20 times more wealth than the bottom half of the country combined. That isn't hard work. That's exploitation. Behind every number is a face. A teacher driving for Uber after class. A nurse picking up night shifts just to afford rent. A father working 2 jobs and still falling behind. These are the people who built this nation. But somewhere along the way, the system stopped working for them. They're tired, not lazy. Tired of being blamed for surviving a system that was never built to help them. And yet, somehow they keep going. They show up. They work. They care for their families. They keep believing that maybe one day things will get better. Because hope is the one thing America hasn't yet taken from them. Hope that their children won't have to live like this. Hope that hard work might someday mean more than just scraping by. Hope that the dream, the one America promised, can still be reclaimed. But hope alone won't change reality. The system must change. Fair wages, affordable housing, healthcare that doesn't bankrupt families, a government that serves the people, not the corporations funding it. Because the real crisis in America isn't laziness. It isn't entitlement. It's inequality. A nation built on opportunity is now built on survival, and survival should never be the American dream. So maybe it's time to stop pretending everything's fine. To stop ignoring the millions struggling in silence. Because their pain is real, their effort is real, and their stories deserve to be heard. The working class built this country. They keep it running every single day. And yet, they're the ones paying the highest price for a system that forgot them. It's time to fix that. Not with slogans, not with empty promises, but with action. Because no one working full-time in the United States of America should have to choose between food, rent, and dignity. This isn't just an economic issue, it's a moral one. The dream isn't dead, it's just been stolen. And together,
Pharmacy, $55. Medical surgical supplies, $1,323. Non-sterile supplies, $2,437. Sterile supply, $50. Lab work, $1,484. Immunology, $450. Hematology, $1,098. Anesthesia, $615 for that nice epidural. Drugs required, $59. Delivery room, $20,395 for a whopping.
The video shows a woman revealing the
I missed
itemized
it.
cost from her hospital
I don't
bill
even know what the
for a
heck this
routine
is.
labor and delivery in the United States. She expresses shock at the high cost, noting that this was for an uncomplicated natural birth. The total amount billed, before applying her pretty good health insurance, came to $51,383. The breakdown highlights the significant expense associated with childbirth in the U.S. healthcare system.
The American healthcare system needs to get the fuck out of here, okay? This is crazy. I just asked for an itemized bill of earlier this month where I was dying and I needed to be hospitalized for 3 days. Bitch, the total of that 3-day service was $83,334.33. For what? For what? Oh my God. And I'm wondering if I get a degree with this service or walking down an aisle for surviving.
A young woman expresses her outrage after receiving an itemized hospital bill for $83,334.33, following a necessary 3-day stay. Holding up the comically long bill, she sarcastically questions the astronomical charges for various services. She highlights specific costs, such as $10,296 for a semi-private room and $462 for albuterol, comparing them to Ivy League tuition and questioning their justification. Her rant concludes with the grimly humorous advice that it's better to ride it out and talk to Jesus than to incur such massive debt for medical care.
Airways open. Mind you, I got back problems. I really got back problems for 3 days in that bed. So make it make sense. My albuterol at home costs like $30. Apparently, in a hospital, it's like $462. I just needed help to open my airways. You would have thought I left with a baby. So moral of the story, it's better to ride it out and talk to Jesus. Because if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. If it's your time to stay, then he's going to make a way.
A man sitting in his car discusses his electric bill for July, which was $203. He notes this is $61 more expensive than his June bill of $144, attributing the lower June cost to milder weather in the Northwest. He then expresses shock at the extremely high electricity bills he's heard about from other states, specifically mentioning California, Arizona, and Illinois, where people reported bills over $1,000. He humorously questions what could cause such high usage, and ends the video by asking his viewers to share the cost of their July electric bill.
Let's start a thread. What's your electric bill? Mine was $203 for the month of July, which is $61 cheaper than it was last month, which was $144. Now, June was a very mild month in the Northwest. It was actually cold, is what it felt like to me anyway. So the AC wasn't running too bad. So $144 kind of makes sense. What I want to talk about though, is I made this same post last month. What's up with everywhere else charging so much for their electric? It was astronomical in some of the comments. Okay. Some of the ones that stick out to me was California. California's broken. I swear. People are, yeah, over $1,000 easily. Arizona, another one. That one, same, over $1,000. And then the other one that I guess kind of shocked me was Illinois. Dude. Okay, I don't know if these people are trolling me or they're just like, what are they doing in their house? I can see if you got, there's so many factors here. I don't know what they're doing in their house. Close the door. AC's just kicking up. Anyways, what was your electric bill for the month of July? Mine was $203. I'm not complaining. What was yours?
The video features a woman sitting in her car, emotionally venting about the severe financial strain of being a single person living alone. She refers to this burden as the single tax. Visibly upset and crying, she details a series of recent, necessary expenses, including a $600 car repair and a $500 car payment that cost her $1,100 in just a few hours. She contrasts her struggle to cover basic necessities, despite working 3 jobs, with her perception of other women affording luxuries. Overwhelmed by debt and the high cost of living, she concludes that while she loves her independence, the financial pressure is so immense that she's taking husband applications just to be able to split the bills and afford to live.
Don't get me wrong, I love being single and I love living alone. It's great, it's fantastic, but fuck, it's expensive. I just spent $600 on brakes on my car, just on the front part of the car, because I couldn't afford all 4 brakes and axles and rotors and whatever the fuck. And then now I just paid my car payment, which is $500. So I just blew $1,100 in like 3 hours. And it wasn't even like fun, you know? Fuck. Sorry, it's just so overwhelming. Like, you work and 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 you work, and it's just to pay off like your basic necessities. And you can't, like, in this city that I live in, public transport, please. If I were to do public transport, it's like asking to get raped, and I really shouldn't be crying because now I have to go to another work event, and now I'm gonna be all puffy. I'm just, living is so expensive. Just keeping yourself alive and floating is so expensive. And what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted is if I were to take public transport here, especially for my job requires a car. I have to have a bunch of shit that I have to lug with me for work. And I can't do that with public transport. I'm venting. Inflation sucks. Just living in America sucks. Living alone sucks. It's great, but it sucks. Because you have to front all the expenses by yourself. I need a husband just so that I can live. So we can split the bills.